Hi, I'm Linda. And today we're going to talk about how to take out a zipper out of a hydration pack, running pack, and take out the old broken zipper and put in a new zipper. And to take out the zipper, we're going to use two tools. We're going to use a little seam ripper and we're going to use a little pair of scissors. And that's it to take it out. Except I'm going to also put on some glasses because I need to be able to see this. Okay, on this very old pack, the zipper just is stuck. It does move, but it is not functional. You want to be able to get your gear, you want to be able to get your stuff, and this is really hard. What we're going to do is we're going to pick out this stitching along here just to remove the old zipper. And then we'll talk about getting something new in there that works a little bit better. Okay, let's give you a realistic idea of how long it's going to take to do this. You've got 213, so we're going to try this now. You want to find the end. Actually, we're going to do as much of the ripping on the zipper part, not because we want to avoid putting holes in the power mesh on this side. So we're going to start just by getting our little seam ripper under and just taking it out. Let's speed that up. Okay, that took about 11 minutes to get out. And I really only use the seam ripper. Sometimes I have to use the little scissors. This time I didn't have to do it. That's what it looks like now. We've got the opening. Okay, it's time to put in the new zipper. We're going to use a number 3 nylon coil 10-inch zipper. That's not the same length as the one that came out, so we're going to have to shorten the zipper, but that's a super easy thing to do. And we're just going to hand stitch it in. So I threaded a needle. So I have needle and thread. I doubled it over and knotted it at the end. Nothing super crazy or fancy on that. And we're just going to start stitching it in by hand with a back stitch. And we're going to try to make tiny little regular stitches to kind of mimic a sewing machine the best we can by hand. We're going to start with putting the needle up through the back near the back stop. That way the knot is on the inside. And we're going to place it in the pocket hole, and we're going to come up just once. Hi, I want to do some full disclosure here. Yesterday I put the new zipper in the hydration pack, and I ran into a few problems. I got it in, it looked fine, but there was a lot of hassles with it, threads getting tangled and things like that. So I want to go over some pro tips, and I'm going to redo it. I took the zipper out and I'm going to put it back in again with less hassle. It'll go faster. I won't run into the problems, and I'll show you some of the problems I had yesterday so you can avoid those problems going forward like I should have. Okay, so the first thing I did wrong yesterday, or I could have done better yesterday, is I threaded one needle, and it's all-purpose thread, nothing special. And this is how long your thread should be. If you're sewing on your lap, it only comes up to here. You're not raising your hand with it. It's not super long. And I had the thread too long yesterday. I knew one that was basically, if you put your arms straight out from your body, that's I don't quite have it in frame. There you go. That's it. It should fit a little about the width of your body and a little bit more. But I knew that wouldn't quite be long enough. So what I didn't do yesterday, and I have done today, is I just threaded 2 needles. So when one finishes, I'll knot it off and I'll go to the other one. And then I don't have the super long thread. Because if you've noticed, there's a lot of hooks and zippers and zipper pulls and little toggles and things all over your hydration pack. And as you're stitching, your thread is going to catch on everything. And if it's shorter, it doesn't catch as much and it's much easier to do. So The second thing that we're going to do today that I didn't do yesterday is we're going to condition the thread. I'm going to use beeswax. Simple as you just take the needle and you pull the thread through the beeswax. That's it. If you don't have beeswax, you can use candle wax. You can use, if you have a stick of lube, you can use that. You can use chapstick even. You just want something that's going to condition your thread. There are thread conditioners out there. They're great. I love them. The beeswax works great, but if you put a little bit of a conditioner over your thread, it's not going to tangle and snarl as much, and you don't have to undo those tangles and snarls, and it just makes the stitching go so much faster. Mine was inside yesterday. Didn't bother getting up and going in and doing it, and I should have done it. So a little thread conditioner goes a long way. Okay, next one. Yesterday, when I was stitching the zipper in, I stitched through, and it's basically a layer of power net and a layer of power net, and that's it. And when I stitched through, I stitched through to the back of the power net and basically stitched my pocket closed. I only did it on 2 stitches, but I had to take it out. Don't catch the power net on the back, or you have to take it out. So an easy, simple way of fixing that is we're going to slide a little bit of cardstock in here. First thing I'm going to do is just take my scissors and cut the cardstock, a mailing flyer, an envelope, any kind of something. I'm just going to cut off a piece and put it inside the pocket. So when I stitch, I'm not accidentally catching the power net on the back side and stitching the pocket closed. So I've cut the cardstock, just going to insert it into the pocket. Okay, so now I've got some cardstock inside the pocket, so when I'm stitching, I won't accidentally go through to the power net on the back side. And my needle, I'd have to work hard to push my needle through the cardstock. Makes it so much easier. The next thing I did is I just held the zipper in place and stitched it in. I'm going to pin it today. Okay, I'm going to pin this in, but I need to make sure, does it go this way or does it go this way? And I think it goes this way, but I'm going to check the zipper on the other side. Yeah, it goes from the front and opens, pulling it to the back. So I'm going to make sure I have it this way. When it's closed, it'll be at the front and it'll go to the back. So I'm going to put this in here and get it pinned in. Okay, let's go ahead and sew this. I'm going to show you where I want you to start. You're going to take your needle and thread, and you're going to come up through the bottom so you don't see the knot. And somewhere near the end, doesn't have to be exact, I leave my pin in place until I get the needle through. Then you can take your pin out and pull your thread through. Okay, so for the back stitch, you're going to go backwards. Go just a few, like a row or two down on your power net. See if you can see that. You just want to go down just a little tiny bit, about a 1/16 of an inch, no bigger than an 1/8 of an inch if you can help it. And we're just going to put it in right about there, and then you're going to come up. So you're going to go in behind the thread and come up in front of the thread. And pull it through, do one more. You're going to go in behind where your thread came out and up in front of where the thread came out. Now your stitches are probably about an 1/8 of an inch, but because you're coming up in the middle, it's a 1/16 on each side. If you can make them even, and it'll look better. The back side will look a little bit messier than the front side because it'll have the back and forth overlapping stitches, but on the front it's not bad. Right now there's a little bit of wax coming off because I conditioned my thread, but that will be gone before you know it, and it's totally worth doing. All right, let's sew this up. So I'm gonna go down to the back side, turn it over, bring it out. And then what I do is I pinch the thread, come around, pull it up, and then I want to pinch right down with the loop, and I'm gonna pull that loop closed. And it gets it pretty close to the fabric, but it's not always right at the fabric. So I'm just gonna go in the zipper. I'm not going all the way through to the front side. And I'm just gonna do a back and forth kind of thing, in and in. And then I tend to overkill and go like through the loop once and twice just to get it pretty secured up. Now it's great. I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to start my other threaded needle, because then I can finish this up and not try to be right at the edge. But look at that. That's not too shabby. Okay, let's do the last bit together here. I want it to line up. I want it to be even. And honestly, I think I want to close the zipper so I know where it's going to be, because it's just a little fluffy, wavy. I don't want to go all the way off because there's no zipper stop here right now. And if I push it all the way, it'll go off the end. All right, so I bet a bunch of you are wondering, what am I going to do about that? And there's two things that I can do. I can, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another zipper stop like this one, the metal one. I buy them, and I can put them on the end and close up that zipper and make it go together and secure it. But what you can do is you can take some thread and just sew it together, and that can be your zipper stop, and that is extremely effective. So don't worry if you don't have a metal zipper stop. The zipper that we took out, this is that zipper, there was no zipper stop. They took thread and sewed it back and forth on the end, so the zipper pull, as it doesn't move very well, could not go past that spot where the thread is, and the thread can be a pretty effective zipper stop. So this will be the thread way of doing it, and I might as well just use the thread that's on here right now. So I'm going to go into where, come here, and I'm going to call it whip it. So I'm whipping it back and forth. You're just going to go around the zipper. So whip stitch. I'm just going to go in a big circle like that, and you just keep doing that. If you're going to close it off with thread, that's how you do it, and that's all you have to do. You do it somewhere between, I don't know, 5, 6, 10 times, nice and secure. Finish stitching around the edge, and you are good to go. I'm going to put in a metal zipper stop, and I'm going to show you that next anyway. Okay, so these are zipper stops. You can buy, I buy them in a sewing supply online store, and that is what they look like. And it's, but this is for a number 5 zipper. And the zipper we're putting in is a number 3 zipper, so we need a smaller one. And I don't have the smaller ones in black. I have the number 5s in black. So we're gonna put in a silver one. I have gold and I have silver, but I think I'm gonna use the silver one for today. And it looks like a staple. You don't have to do this. This gives it a little bit more security, and the whipping the thread around works too. And then I'm going to take this little, it looks like a staple, but it is a zipper stop, and I'm going to put it over the end of my zipper. I'm going to open this up so I can get my tools in there. And then I have some needle nose pliers, and I am going to push it through the zipper with the needle nose pliers, making sure I catch the teeth on both sides. Okay, so I've got it in there, and the teeth are sticking out the back side. I'm just going to double check that the teeth are where I think the teeth are. Sometimes they get bent over a little bit. Just want to make sure they're nice and secure. And then I'm going to use my needle nose pliers and I'm going to bend the teeth so it holds and stays in. I'm going to fuss with this a little bit, and I'm obviously not keeping it on camera very well. Okay, so I've got the little zipper stop in, and I'm just making sure because, you know, we don't want any chafing, we don't want anything poking you. So if those teeth don't get bent over in the back, they can poke through and rub on you. And so just make sure that you put your hand there and make sure they're not sticking out, they're down, and they feel secure. Now, because I had done the whip stitches here at the end of the zipper, my thread stayed at there, so we're just gonna leave it there. I don't think I need to knot it off and redo. We're gonna go back and finish stitching the last little bit of the end, but now you can go back and forth with the zipper. It's secure, and it's not going to run off the edge. So let's finish the last little corner of the stitching. Okay, we are done with that. Now we can take this through, put your thread to the back, pull it out. I swear sometimes I do the easiest knot is just to take a stitch that's only on the zipper, pull it down so you have just a little loop, go through both threads, that. Do it one more time, pull it down, you've got a knot. Then I just to secure it, do one more stitch and cut your threads. You're good. So at this point, we can leave it alone. We can be done. And take the card out. That kept me from accidentally stitching through to the back side. That was super helpful. It saved me some time. Okay, we're at day 3. I've got most of my editing done, and one thing I realized I didn't do is I didn't show you guys how I shorten the zipper. So we're going to show you that now. Okay, as I'm getting down to the end of this first stitch, or this first side, I've done the back, I've done this side, and now I'm getting to the end of the hole, and these long tails aren't fitting. They don't fit inside the hole well. It's making it get a little pooky, and I don't want it to. So I'm just going to cut off the excess. I'm going to leave myself a little room. I can trim it down more later, but these long tails, I just need to get them out of my way, so I'm going to. I'm not going to take my nice sewing scissors to do it. I'm just going to take some good old paper scissors, nothing fancy, and I'm going to cut it so it'll fit in the pocket, but I give myself a lot of extra room. And you can just cut with scissors right through the nylon coil. If you're using a metal teethed zipper, you can just cut between the teeth and don't try to cut through the teeth. It'll be fine. And with the plastic zippers, you can also cut right through it, and you can shorten any zipper. You're gonna lose the little zipper stops at the ends, and that's okay. We're going to do a different kind of zipper stop. Now I can get the zipper inside the pocket and finish stitching up. On the zipper editing, I believe a lot of you will notice that I started sewing around the opening in a different spot. That is totally fine. You can pick whatever spot works, just sew all the way around it. When I actually put in the zipper on the video, I had already cut the tails off the zipper. On the way I did it the first day, I had not cut the tails off the zipper. Doesn't matter, do it one way or the other, whatever works better for you. The only thing you need to be very careful of is when you cut the tails off, there's no more zipper stops, and that zipper pull can slide all the way off the zipper. Don't let that happen. That's a lot more work, and we're not going to go into that on this video. I will do future videos more on zippers, but don't let it happen. I put in the time it took me because one of the things that I never know when I'm watching YouTube videos myself is how long the total project takes for most people. And I think that is very individual. I rip out a lot of stitches. I'm pretty fast at ripping out stitches. So that particular zipper took me 11 minutes. Some zippers take longer. They're just sewn in. The stitching is in a way that it just takes longer to come out. And some zippers are faster and easier to come out. So it's going to depend on the person and the zipper and how it was put in anyway. Gives you an idea. I did so many cuts and edits and things like that. If I'm going to be doing this project myself, I've done it before. I know what I'm doing, and it's one of those things I would give myself a good 2 hours to replace a zipper in a hydration pack by hand for myself. So again, your time's going to vary, but it gives you an idea. Don't expect to be able to do this in the 20 minutes that the video is. Thank you guys. This was really cool. This is my first video, and I hope to do a lot more. I am very excited about showing people how to repair their running gear. I would love comments, but I'd really like to know what you want to see. Thank you. Bye-bye.